Welcome to Funnel Hacker Radio Podcast, where we go behind the scenes and uncover the tactics and strategies top entrepreneurs are using to make more sales, dominate their markets, and how you can get those same results. Here's your host, Dave Woodward.
Once again, welcome back to Funnel Hacker Radio. I'm your host, Dave Woodward, and again today, you are our third time hearing from the one and only Julie Stoian. Julie, welcome back.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. So fun.
This has been a ton of fun. And just for those of you guys who are listening to this podcast, this is our third one. We're recording in a row. So if we're getting tired, it's because we've actually been at this 3 times. This is called podcast stacking. If you're not familiar with that, we're trying to get a bunch of episodes all done at one time. Highly recommend you guys do the exact same thing with your time. Maximize your time. Try to stack things as much as you can. But this one is a topic I wanted to kind of save to the last. And that is going to be fixing a broken funnel. It's a question we get all the time, and we think, gosh, do we need to show this? And the great thing about Julie is she is such an amazing teacher. She's actually be able to help you visualize every single one of your pages and exactly how to fix them as we're going through this. So with all that said, I want to dive right into this topic as far as how to fix a broken funnel. So Julie, let's just dive in. Let's see where we're going to go with this one.
Awesome. Okay, so a couple things before we dive in. Number one, I want you to close your eyes and remember 5th grade scientific method. If you were in science class, it was always find the isolating variable. Dave is sitting here with his eyes closed. I can't take him seriously.
Sorry.
It's isolate the variable, right? You didn't know if your science experiment worked if you just changed all the variables all at once, right? So part of a funnel is there's lots of places where it can, quote, break or leak. And so we just want to isolate that one at a time. The second thing is almost every funnel is broken when it launches. No, it's very, very rare for a funnel to just be perfect right out of the gate. So broken might make you feel oh crap, it's broken, but it's not. It's just not optimized yet. That's the difference, okay? There's something not quite right. And it's a matter of when you get it right, not if you get it right, if you keep at it. So those are my 2 big disclaimers. So the first spot where a funnel might, quote, break is on the ad itself. And that is really simple to determine. You can just look in your ads manager if you're doing Facebook to see how many clicks you're getting. And if you're seeing a cost per click that's higher than 50 cents, and every industry is going to be different. So please take that with a huge grain of salt. And Facebook changes every 5 seconds. But right now, if I'm looking and I'm seeing clicks that are costing me $2 a click or $3 a click, something's not right with my ad. It could be the copy, it could be the image, or it could be the audience. All right. So the first thing is you got to get people to click on your ad. So that's your first method. So, okay, that's step 1. Step 2 is how many people are opting in on your landing page, on your squeeze page. And everybody's going to have a different benchmark. So you might be normally I'm at 30%, but this one's at 20%. So now you know. But if you have no benchmark because you're brand new, use 20% as a industry average. So that means for 100 people that click on your ad, you want at least 20 leads. It will be lower if you're in a local business because usually your audience is narrower and so those leads are fewer. But if you're in a big expert-based business where people can buy whether they live in China or California, 20%.
I love that. That's great, man. Those are the kind of things that are so important to people is these little tiny numbers because that's what people get so frustrated. I don't even know where to start. And so by giving those numbers, it helps a ton.
So if you look and you're okay, my cost per click is around 50 cents. Okay, all right, that's cool. You know that your ad is kind of resonating. Look at your Facebook relevancy score. You want to see a relevancy score of 7 or higher. The next thing to look at is that landing page. And if it's lower than 20%, probably your copy. It's probably your copy. As much as I hate to say this because the designer in me loves beautiful design, it's copy that usually causes the issue. Even ugly funnels convert if the copy's right?
We have seen that happen so many times. Oh my gosh. That's for another podcast. We'll review the top 100 funnels, but that was one of the things we came out was we were looking at all those with, oh my gosh, these are so fugly, but
exactly. But yeah. So if your copy doesn't, so then you can start tweaking your copy. Now, some of you might be oh, I can't, I tweaked my copy and it doesn't work. It's still not converting. Then your offer might suck because if you can't at some point you're going to tweak your copy so much that you're selling a different offer, right? And that's the point. Your offer's not working. So it's like you keep tweaking it and you're like, shoot, that's a different offer. Well, yeah. So, that's kind of how to fix that. So then the last way to fix a broken funnel is to look at all the statistics in the rest of the funnel. And people are shocked when I tell them that industry averages, like if you have like a low cost item on your thank you page, like after people opt in, 1 to 5% is pretty standard for buying. So people like spend $20 on ads and they're like, God, my funnel's broken. I'm like, you've had 3 people look at it. You cannot make that. So, but just like do the math. If your buy rate is 1 to 5%, how many people need to see the page to get one buyer? Like almost 100, which means you need at least 100 leads before you can even look at that page and be like, ooh, that page needs work. So
I love that. I think that's why focusing on the ad first is the right place. Too many times people want to play all day long in the funnel, and the ad is so critical there. I think that's great advice.
Right, exactly, because you got to get people in. You got to, like, if the ad's not getting good clicks, like you're not going to get enough traffic to be able to measure it. And so it, once you get like 1,000 people hitting your landing page, if you've got a 20% opt-in rate, what is that? 200 people are opting in. That means if 200 people are opting in, you want to see 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 sales on that sales page. And if you don't, then that's where the leak is.
That's
that. The problem. And then the OTO, the last, like, and I'm doing like a self-liquidating offer funnel right now, the OTO. And so many people say my OTO doesn't work. And again, it's the same problem. If 200 people opt in and you get 10 people to buy, if your OTO, if you're looking for like 10%, that's one purchase, right? So it's like a numbers game. And so, sometimes people look at like Russell's funnels and they're like, oh, they work so well. Part of the advantage that Russell has is he can push massive traffic into a funnel really fast and get all those numbers and those benchmarks like this. And if you're just working on $100 budget, like it's going to take a long time to get the amount of traffic you need to even make the call if the funnel is working or not.
I love that. I think that's the part that people get so frustrated and say, oh, it just doesn't work. I'm like, you haven't had enough people go through the funnel to even know if it's going to work. And especially when you start talking about, OTOs and down sales, and you're like, wait a second here. There's a percentage of breakage all the way through that we anticipate and expect to have happen.
Yeah.
And so just because you're not getting as many as you hoped for there, that was anticipated. That doesn't mean that it's broken. So exactly. I love that idea. That's fantastic.
So
Julie,
if you guys are like, oh, well, shoot, like I don't have a lot of ad money. There's lots of ways to push traffic into your funnel besides just ads. You can do podcast interviews. You can shoot for your Dream 100. You can stick your funnel in your email signature. You can, start a Facebook group, do SEO, do YouTube videos. Like there's all kinds of ways. So some of it's patience. So my recommendation is like, if you don't have a lot of money to spend on ads, you want at least 100 people to opt in before you make a decision about that first offer. And then you want at least 20 to 30 purchases before you make a decision if your OTO is not working. And I would say even like 50 purchases. And then you look at the data and you see where the leak is. And then I would say the very first thing to do is to fix the copy, is to try to tweak the copy. And if you find you're tweaking the copy to the point where you're making a different offer, then there's information there.
Julie, that's fantastic. And again, for those of you guys who hate writing copy, we've got a product out there called Funnel Scripts. Jim Edwards created. By all means, go to funnelscripts.com and check that out for sure. But I think the key here is helping people understand. I love, really, as you started things off with the whole idea as far as this whole scientific theory, with that whole idea of understanding, listen, you have to start by only changing one variable. You can't change the ad, you can't change the offer and change the copy and think you're going to get anything out of it. So you have to be patient through this, which I know is hard. It's frustrating for people because they're going, listen, I've only got so much money in ad spend here that I can get going on this thing. I want to make sure it works right out the gate. Well, I've always looked at anything, and maybe I'm just stupid on that. I think you got to be willing to spend $1,000 at least on a funnel in ads. If you're not willing to spend that, you're not going to get enough numbers going through to be able to understand if it's really working or if it's not working. So I always
Yeah.
start any of the funnels I've ever looked at building saying, listen, I'm willing to literally light a match to $1,000 if I have to.
Exactly.
In the hopes that I'm okay with the fact that the information, I'm buying information and
Perfect.
stats is how I look at it. As far as I gotta buy the data, and no one has the data but the marketplace.
Yeah.
And so I've got to pay people for that data, and that's how I've always looked at any funnels, and it's always worked for me in that way.
That's the most brilliant explanation. I've always tried to explain it and I've come up short. And that's exactly what I've said to my clients is like, we're going to light a match to this money. Like, don't expect anything from it, but that's exactly right. We're buying data. There's no way until you use the marketplace to test to know if your funnel is broken. And so I think that's brilliant. And I think the other thing is, the difference between a front end and a back end funnel. And for those of you who are building the front end funnels, like the free plus shipping or the self-liquidating offer funnels, those funnels are successful if they break even or if you make a little bit of profit. That's their design. Like the back end funnels are where you want to see that profit maximizer. I had a client, she's like, I'm spending I spent like $3,000 on ads and I made like 4,000 from it. And it's a front end funnel. I'm like, awesome. Like that's awesome. And she's like, is it? I'm like, yes. Because now all of her leads, she's acquired like thousands and thousands of leads for free. And she's made a little bit of profit, but she's like, well, I need to sell them something else. I'm like, exactly. Do you know what I mean?
Hello?
So like that's sometimes why people say build your back end first, because it's like once that back end is ready and then you start building your front ends, then you have something to sell them and you start to see that momentum. But beginners are like, oh, I'll just make something small and I'll make a little front end funnel and then it breaks even and they're like, crap, it's not working. I'm like, no, it's working. It's working just fine.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. Again, we talk about this all the time. If you're not familiar with these terms, cost to acquire a customer and average cart value. So CAC and ACV are two of the most important things when you're paying attention to a front end funnel is what is the cost to acquire the customer and what's your average cart value. And that's, again, look at average cart values, the sum of all the products that basically were, OTOs, down sales, products, order form bumps, all that as far as what's the average cart value for that. Because if you can get what Julie just said, it's literally the holy grail of marketing. And it's so funny. I was talking with a multi-$100 million company the other day, and they're like, if what you guys are really talking about really would work, we would become $1 billion company. And I'm like, it works. The problem is you don't know your numbers. And again, they've gotten so big that they're like, we just keep throwing money and it just keeps growing. I'm like, no, if you'll pay attention to your cost to acquire a customer, your average cart value in the front end, their back end is so huge. They literally just blow this thing. It could easily be $1 billion company, but they're struggling around, again, that 200 to 300 million, which again, it's a big company. but at the same time, it's like, it really works for any size company. So I love the fact that you pointed that out. Thank you.
Last thing I wanted to talk about with the broken funnel is the stats inside the ClickFunnels editor. When you decide, so like, let's say you do get traffic. You're like, all right, Julie, I got traffic. Something's broken. I want to tweak something. What you can do is you can use the date filter and like you grab a week, right? Like December 1st to December 10th or whatever, and write down what all your percentages were for that week, right? In the past. Change your copy. Like change your headline and whatever copy you want to change. Maybe your call to action. Places you want to change are like headlines and calls to action and places like that. And then run it for another week and then look at that week and compare it and see. And then use that filter to see like how did that week do versus this week do. And then you can kind of guess, all right, the copy helped or no, the copy didn't help,
I love that. Oh man, Julie. Again, love your experience. Love the fact it's always fun talking to someone who's built not only their own funnels, but working with clients because you have such a much broader range of experience. So thank you so much for all that you're doing. We appreciate your contributions. Any parting remarks on how to fix a broken funnel?
Just don't get discouraged if it doesn't work right away. It's like getting the funnel launched is the beginning of your adventure, not the end. And everybody has a funnel that doesn't work when it starts. That's just normal. So just stick with it and don't give up.
I love it. Julie, thanks again. We'll talk soon.
Yes, thanks. Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to Funnel Hacker Radio Podcast. If you'd like to be notified anytime we release a new episode, just subscribe over at funnelhackerradio.com. In addition to that, we'd love to send you a free gift. You can find that free gift at funnelhackerradio.com/free trial. One last thing is we love giving away cars. So if you'd like access to a free dream car, all you have to do is go to funnelhackerradio.com/dream car and you'll get all the details. Thanks again for listening.